Hey, it's the MorrowMarriage podcast, and today we are going to piggyback off of last episode. We didn't have enough time to get into reality checks, and we'll talk about why that's really, really important. We're going to talk about why peace is so important in the home.
Stop trying to lead and make decisions all the time.
You should not be proud if you raised your voice and screamed at them.
No matter what.
No matter what. I'm Cass.
And I'm Kathryn. Why am I allowing him to do this in front of our children? Why am I allowing this to happen at all? You don't get to say whatever you want to a man and push him to the point where he snaps.
I might have been a really bad man the other day, but today I went out of my way to be a good man, and she thanked me for it.
It's that you always want to act in the direction you want to go. So
He is just a paycheck. What about his needs?
we're MorrowMarriage.
Let's flip divorce statistics with the new marriage.
Again, thank you so much for the support. We are getting a lot of love for you guys. We are growing rapidly, but we can't do that without you. We can't inspire enough people if we don't have enough of you sharing. So please subscribe, follow, and share. Let's get into reality checks. So if you did not hear the last episode, you should go listen to that first. But reality checking has become an integral part of my work for me and ultimately for the men that I work with. I'm not sure how much you do it in your program with the women or helping them maybe with their husbands, or I'm not sure. But
a little bit. It's not really common, but I do teach it.
Okay. One of the things, so we were talking about cognitive distortions, and what that means is I had my own reality. And I really want to emphasize this again. You don't have to be as messed up in the head that I've had to learn to control here, manage. Okay. You're going to, in the heat of the moment, in a triggered state, often kind of go nuts. Okay. In your own reality, crazy train, whatever, let's be honest. We've all been there. Okay. I want you to consider something for a second. All right. If you are triggered, it's really rapid. It's really fast. And so if it's an old trigger, it's really ingrained. Let me give you a super easy example. I love this example. I've told you guys before, but I'll tell you again in case you haven't heard it. Kathryn asked for a diaper once, and I threw it from wherever the box was, I think sort of in the kitchen, over to the couch with a little toss, and it hooked my finger.
It wasn't a diaper. It was a whole pack of wipes.
Wipes.
It weighed like a pound.
Okay, so it hooked my finger, whatever, and then it hit her in the head.
Side of the head.
Side of the head, yeah.
It didn't hurt. It just scared me.
Yeah, that's right. And so this is Cass, not Ryan, so I wasn't whipping it at her.
No,
okay?
it wasn't.
It was just a gentle toss, hooked my finger, hit her in the head, and then, I don't know, a few minutes later, she's on the couch, she's doing her thing with her phone or whatever for work, and then all of a sudden, I picked up a sweater. I think one of the girls' sweaters, and I threw it on the other couch.
Nowhere near me.
Nowhere near. She jumped high off the couch. I'm not kidding you, okay? It was like she was in a horror movie, all right? That was a non-abrasive hit to the head from a diaper wipes a few minutes earlier, and she was, you guessed it, triggered. Okay, so I want you to understand that even if you're not as messed up that I've had to learn to manage, okay, which most of you probably aren't, let's be honest. At the end, sometimes it's so crazy to see how far I've come.
Oh my gosh, it's unreal.
But to think about it, I mean, so if you can understand that whatever's happening, your reality changes. Kathryn thought in the triggered state that something was coming at her head again as she jumped high off the couch. Fear. Okay. That's what the trigger does. Okay. Now, what you choose to do with the different realities, sometimes you can't help.
If it's a trigger like that, like instinctive. Yes.
Instinctive. Yeah, that's right. And so one of the things that you can do is, I'm just going to run with this example, but we can do a reality check. So let's say that Kathryn full on panic, automatically now we're past the instinct. Okay. And now she's just going to town. You always throw things at me. I can't believe you do that. Like blah, 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 or maybe I triggered her again before that. Let's go with that. Actually, let's change the story here. This is, by the way, make believe, this part. So let's say after that happened, you jumped high off the couch, and then I automatically teased you or something. Now, we don't use wit as a weapon in our home. It's one of our rules. Go listen to the rules of marriage episode. But essentially, let's pretend that I said to Kathryn, what is your problem? Like, what are you big? You think you jumped? I'm going to try to use wit as a weapon here. I'm not sounding very witty at all. But let's just say it was like, you're not an athlete anymore? Now, being an athlete is important to Kathryn. She was an athlete for years. Okay. And so
She can't dodge a simple sweater.
yeah. Damn it, she's coming out on top here today again. Well, you'll
I
be
like
on
it
top later. Ooh. Okay, so she's triggered. Now it's a new kind of trigger, okay? I've been a douche in this pretend story. I'm emphasizing this is pretend for a reason, okay? Now, hopefully you guys know that the story was real and now I'm adding to it. That's probably clear. Okay.
Yeah, I definitely jumped off the couch when he threw one of our girls' sweaters across somewhere else, nowhere near me.
Yeah. Okay, so now I've triggered her in a different state now if I've done this, right? I've made fun, poked fun. Maybe I just told her she was being, I don't know, a baby, whatever you jerks, I'm going to say, would use to push your partner's buttons.
Mhm.
Maybe, and I say wit as a weapon because I feel like you'd laugh in this example. I feel like you'd think that
It wouldn't actually be hurtful
Exactly.
in this example.
But it could trigger your partner. That's why we say wit could be a weapon, okay? And so you shouldn't use sarcasm that way. And so now you have to understand that her reality is going to change, okay? So it went from instinctual reality of fear, okay, to a new reality of maybe extreme fear, right? But not instinctual. Now, just survival mode, remembering what I used to say to her, how I used to treat her, all these things, and maybe she starts to panic. Maybe she starts to protect herself. You start to yell at me. You start to go thinking she has to because she's in her own reality. She can start hearing different things. Now, this is totally a fake story because now we're talking about you in fake realities. But,
Yeah. And not everybody goes into their own reality. So
No.
he's telling the truth when he says that a trigger can have an instinctual reaction, which is based on something that's not actually happening. So in that respect, it's a reality that's not happening. He didn't throw the sweater at me. That's not real. My body responded like it was real. But I don't have cognitive distortions. I don't go into delusional alternate realities.
Right. Well, let's talk about something you just talked about something really, really powerful. So the trigger, did you guys catch that? She said that when the trigger was there, okay, that it's not actually happening. A lot of times that's the case. And sometimes though, I wouldn't call that being triggered. If something's happening that's normal, say if I am trashing the house and screaming at Kathryn, that's not a trigger. That's just
It's actually happening.
It's actually happening. And I think people need to understand that. You get this very confused, okay? The trigger is an alternate reality moment, instinctually in this case, okay? It's not happening. Assess the situation, okay? Now, we've also learned with the reality check that it was really important for the narcissism side. In fact, you guys, if you don't know this about me, so I'm a self-aware managing narcissist, and we talked about this about men. We got into a little fight recently, and you were like, "Do you need to manage your narcissism right now," or something like that? Like, it was quite funny.
To which he responded,
Yeah.
"Well, you're the narcissist," and I was like, "That's what a narcissist would say."
I think I said, you're the narcissist. You're gaslighting me right now. Like, this is kind of how our fights go mostly, right? So, we're not. By the way, just to clarify, we're not using wit as a weapon. We use our tools in a fun way to diffuse.
And it was real. I wasn't trying to be witty. He actually needed to manage his narcissism.
Yeah, but if you see how you can do things in a different way. Now we've come a long way, so don't just try this. Okay?
Yeah,
Definitely don't use the narcissism card right now.
No, especially if your partner isn't a narcissist.
Yeah.
Like, don't do that.
So what we found with reality checks is it can be a beneficial tool when we say the actual words, like reality check, and that's what we mean when she's talking about managing, right? And so I think that if you want to start helping your partner, there's two things that you can do. Number one, is assess you and your reality first. Do your own reality check. Is it possible that they just said it wrong? They didn't mean it that way? Because you guys, you can put the tone on a different word in, let's say, a 6-word sentence. You can put the tone on each word separately and say the sentence 6 different times, and the sentence will change. It's a cool. Go watch some YouTube videos. It's really cool. Okay. Now, that's not cool in a moment when you're feeling triggered and it's a different reality, though. That can actually make you feel like you're not, like your partner's trying to hurt you, right? And I'm very famous for saying,
I think you're famous.
Thank you. I mean, I say it all the time. Sorry. There's my narcissism again. I like
Damn it, I enable it.
No, I just meant I say it all the time, guys.
I know.
So if you say I love you to your partner, but they don't understand that you love them, even if you say the words I love you, this would usually tie in something like a lesson with the love languages, for example. If I'm touching Kathryn and saying I love you, that's not the best way. best way for me is to tell her I love her about why. Affirmations. Okay. Actually, tonight we're going to do the love languages quiz again. Just deep dive, deep check, and then deep check again.
Deep check.
So, I lost my thought because now this happened to us on a couple episodes.
It did.
Yeah.
We get distracted when we think about intimacy.
I love you. If you're not reaching your partner, right, then that's your responsibility. So that's the first thing I want you to do is if there's a misunderstanding, if you're feeling this trigger, you'll know it, guys. It's the anxiety, it's the fear, it's the insecurity, right? You just don't feel comfortable, okay? Then I want you to reality check whatever is being said and done. Just reality check on what you're doing and how you feel. From there, you can start to assess clearly what's going on with your partner. This has nothing to do with your partner. This is all on you. You take responsibility for yourself. Because remember, we're learning to manage our emotions and have emotional control because we want to succeed, not fail. And emotions will cause one or the other. That's it. Okay. Now, I would like you to help with reality checking your partner, please.
Yes. So I want to just back up a little bit because there's two different things we're talking about here. When you are triggered, that is an emotional or a physical response to something that has happened before, but it isn't happening now, but you are responding, either physically jumping off the couch like I did, or emotionally, which oftentimes triggers are emotional. Okay. To reality check a trigger, you can reality check with yourself is what he's describing. Is it happening right now? No, that means I am safe. My body doesn't know that I'm safe. So you're reality checking with yourself. Am I safe? Is this actually happening? Is this a response to something in the past? You reality check yourself to get yourself out of the trigger. Would you agree?
Yes.
The second thing that we're talking about is a cognitive distortion, a delusion, an alternate reality. When you are in a cognitive distortion or a delusion or an alternate reality, you cannot reality check yourself because you don't know that you're in an alternate reality.
That's right.
Okay. You need to ask someone that you trust. And this is key. It's so important.
And hard if you guys are coming at each other and you're not in, a good state right now.
That's right. So he was really trusting, but he also knew I wasn't going around manipulating him, gaslighting him. I wasn't acting narcissistic. We had issues. I was defensive. I was reactively abusive, but he trusted me. He trusted me to tell him what was happening.
In actuality, you actually started to become more patient and understanding so that I could trust you. It wasn't like I just trusted her and just, okay, that must be the truth. That's not easy because I'm in my own reality. Okay.
Which brought empathy. When we figured out that he was having cognitive distortions and that our dog just shook his head and I have hair in my mouth and that he was struggling with his own reality, that made me feel really empathetic and kind of a little bit sad and compassionate towards him because that must be really hard. So in those moments, it helped me to not react as much and to be that trusting person where he could say, if he accused me of saying something and I said I didn't say it, he needed to agree that he's going to believe me in that moment because that's reality checking. If you're reality checking with someone, you have to believe the person who you believe is in real reality.
That's right.
So if you don't know if you're in reality, the only way to find out is to ask someone else what is going on. And if you don't trust that other person, you have no chance to get out of that reality.
Well, you do, but you'd have to have somebody like us. You have to find somebody that you trust
you need someone
outside that you can relay the story because it's so easy. I snapped a guy out of it the other day really fast. He was so angry at his wife and he listed off, well, as he's going through his story and I was confirming, so you don't think you did this right? Okay. Oh, you're not proud about doing this? Okay. We had 5 different things. Okay. So I said, you're mad at her because she did this. He's like, yeah, okay. So, but that's not real. He said, what do you mean? Because you just admitted to doing all these things wrong. If you take responsibility for yourself and how you handled yourself and what you're thinking, none of that's real. He was like, holy shit. 2 days later, he got on the call and he thanked me for snapping him back into it. Guys, you need to have somebody who can snap you back into it because otherwise you say and do things acting in a way that's based off that reality. It's not real. Okay. So if it's not your partner, if you guys are coming at each other and you're not strong enough for this yet, you're going to have to find somebody else that you can reality check with. Now, there is a gray area, right? The gray area is simple. And that is we all say and do stupid fucking things in a fight. You know, you say, I want a divorce. I'm going to use one of the hot ones, right? Divorce, divorce, divorce. You know, guys, if you heard our story, how many times I went to the couch, like 4,000. Fuck you. It's over. I'm done with you. Okay. Go find another man. Fuck that episode. We should talk about that. There's a couple episodes ago we talked about I can go find someone. Well, actually, what I used to say is you can go find whoever you want. The fuck was I thinking? Fuck, she'd fucking pick up whoever she wants anywhere. Fuck, lock up your husbands. All right. So
Don't worry, I'm married.
I'm just
Lock up your husband.
so
That harlot.
actually there's plenty of fucking single guys too.
Oh my gosh. Wow. See, this is his alternate reality. Speaking of, let's reality check here for a second.
Oh my gosh. Okay, back to the show.
Yeah.
All right. So I think I just started. Okay. So when you're in those moments where you're just angry, okay, that secondary emotion, that will also allow you, if you allow it, you're not managing your emotions, to just say stupid shit, which creates more bullshit that he said, she said. So you don't have to be batshit crazy. You don't have to be riding a crazy train. You don't have to say, oh, well, Cass was worse. Just stop. What's your fucking problem? If you're not as bad as we were, guys, you have to stop and reality check yourselves right now in that gray area where it's nowhere near the extremes, okay? Not super trigger. It's just the fight just spiraled out of control. We've all been there. You don't know how it happened. You were just talking about a dish, and all of a sudden, you want to get a divorce. Like, we've all fucking been there, okay? And all of a sudden, by the way, is however long that gap is for you. But for us, sometimes it was 10 seconds. Reality check yourself. You're saying and doing stupid shit, and your partner's saying and doing stupid shit. And then all of a sudden, you're in this bullshit reality, i.e., fine, go find someone else. Just stop. Just stop. Life without someone else is so much better.
Oh yeah, life with us. That made me think. Life without someone else. Life with.
Yeah, without somebody.
Yeah, I get it now.
Yeah.
Took me a second, guys.
I got her. That's
All right.
okay. I got her back. All right.
Okay. See you guys next
See
time.
you guys.